Hello everyone, I hope you're very good this morning. So I'm back with the new videos on Scope International. So I'm Veronique. So this morning I have is going to be the following with the testimony 11 regarding my current situations in France. So basically the subject is based on the DMP and also the vaccine of COVID-19. So regarding the DMP system, it's actually an access data document which is recording all the informations medical of French people can be made online. This software is made online. So every time you've been going to the hospital or going to see your doctor or going to see any practitioners, professionals who you've been meeting can have access and add all the information added through the system. This give the capability everywhere you go. For example, everywhere I want to go to France, I have all my information recorded on the system. Any doctor, any pharmacy, any practitioner of health can have access to it. It's actually optimizing during the appointment any kind of questions. The professional can have access to your data and make the decision regarding any medicine, any actions you wanted to plan to do. That's what I've been applying for, and I already have my accounts. But now I'm very challenging with it because following the previous video, I explained my health situations, why I've been asking to my daughter to add all my information through the system according to my health situation, which is getting better every day. Now, the challenge with this now is the system. I've been asking that he add my information through the DMP. The first stage happened that he could not see me as his patients to the system, and the second that when I went there, he definitely said that my account doesn't exist. Then another time he said that the system cannot recognize my card. And then I went another time and he said he finally opened the DMP system and added information. I expect him to add all my data that he has on the system on his computer. Unfortunately, when I control through it, I found out that he only made a sentence of my medical record that passed for the 2009 to now. So now, following that, after another time I went there and I asked him to add again the information. He added the card through his systems that we call it the card vital in France, and he said that his laptop doesn't work no more. Then I went another times again, and he actually, that's what the time where he said the laptop doesn't work, so he get the key, a key USB where he add all my information inside of it. Unfortunately, the data that he had on the key USB, the last information that he had, it was only from the 5th April to 2020 to now, not 2009. I experienced very respect feedback from the doctor, because when I went there, I didn't actually take an appointment, because anytime I take an appointment with the doctor, I'm always challenging with a new story. So I went there and he actually shouted to me. There's people around when I was waiting there because I didn't take any other. And he said, "Why are you here? Why are you here? You make me trouble. Why are you here? Why are you in front of everyone?" So I went there. I was sat there. I said to him, "I'm here because you actually not add all my information, medical information on the QSB. The only information that you add is from the 5 April to the April 2020 to now. You not add all my information for medical from the time that you been my doctor from 2009 to now." So then got in the office, he opened the door and he kept shouting to me. He sit on his chair and he started to use his computer. And he said, "Yes, come and see here." He said like I was like his daughter, or I was like a kid or a slave, basically. He said, come here and see on my laptop. See here that." I said, "No, I'm not coming to see your computer, because I know what I see on the QSB. The QSB show me clearly that you should only give me the data that lasts since I came back to France in 2020, not 2020, not 2009. And he keeps saying, and I say, no, that's enough. And he said, and I was going to give you the QSB that he given to me. He didn't want to take the key. He said, "Is it the QSB that I given to you?" He said, this is a key that you given to me. And then he said he decided to print all my medical record by paper instead of adding on the system. He didn't want it to take my capital to add my information on DFA, and he didn't want it to add that on the QSB as he did in the first place. So I was like, okay, give me my data, and I went back home. And then I went back to see him again recently, and because I keep every time when I go in there, we have challenge. He's very respect the way he was talking to me. He talking to me like I'm nothing. Like respect the way that in France is some we calling that I calling that racism. Basically, I live racism with my practitioners that I have right now. When I is in his office, the way he's talking to me, he thinks that I cannot talk. I'm not educated and I don't understand things. That's a mistake. So I told him I know how to read. I know how to read French. So I know what I see. So then I went back in there again, and basically he said that he's going to add the information my medical record again on the system. So he opened the system, and then he was applied to add the information again to DMP. So he found out that he could not add all of them. So I said, okay, you may have add some of them, but not all. I want to make sure that I want to acknowledge every document, medical record that I've been collect from him that he has been print. I actually get a picture of it and I add to the DNP. Everything that I collect from the doctor, everything that I collect from the radiolog, anything that I collect from the pharmacy, anything I collect from the laboratory, anything anywhere I've been, and even in the pharmacy, I print all the informations, like print a picture and add on the system by myself. Normally, as a professional has to add such information in that DMP system. According to what I've been saying from the testimony, you will be able to understand how important it's important to have orders to record from all the kind of professional everywhere I go. The doctor may contact this doctor. They may have a feedback regarding everything. So I'm see far. It's not something I just see as something that you need to play. For me, this doctor play with my life, and I don't trust this man. So because when I had a meeting with him, I've been asking him, is it possible to do the vaccine? I believe in France we must wait. There's not a deadline. Give me some information such as like when there's some dose for vaccine for COVID-19. Anyone who are less than 50 years or even like 18 they can come and have the right to make a vaccine. So I want to make sure that even if you're African, you have the right to do the vaccine. I don't get it. I see far like you don't need to be fear of any vaccine that is being put in place. If it is being examined in the laboratory, you must believe that it's going to work. So it's not because the doctor said that I have not the right to make a vaccine. I have the right. Even it's not the date, even the word that is being said. For me, it is like predictions of something. I recently checked my DMP yesterday and I found out that this doctor basically didn't have my data on the system like DMP. He actually had the sentence that was made in the first place when I asked him the second time when I went there. I asked him to add the informations, and I expect him to add all of it, and I found out that he actually lied, didn't add all the informations. It was a time when I called the police and I requested the police about the situation because I was going through a lot in terms of my medical record that I had in the UK that is being used everywhere. I explained for the previous videos that I called the Ministry of Health in France, Paris, the police in Oran where I live gave me the advice to call the Ministry of Paris and to send some data regarding this situation. And the Ministry of Health in Paris transferred me to where I live in the south of health, Assurance Maladie in France, in Oran. So he gave me this transfer to these people who are working there, and I have the address 45 Rue de Siège in Colmar, where I send all my medical record from UK. But there's some information that I'm missing, such as when I was in emergency, during the time when I was writing the dissertation. So I didn't have such information by the time. But then I send the second letter, the pink one, and I add such information in there, and I send to the address that these people has given to me in the first place, 45 Rue de Siège in Colmar. And the letter came back here in my home, came back where I live. And inside of this letter that I had the information from the hospital, GHRSAM, such information missing inside of it. And the letter was crushed everywhere. So it missing such information, and everywhere so I was crushed. So, and now when I control again the data that the doctor has actually had, because I expect him to at least add some information that he already had, and the time that I had the meeting with him. Unfortunately, he didn't. He just make again the same sentence that he did when I called the police. I mean, I can't see myself start from the start. You see, the address is wrong. It's 45 Rue Siège in Colmar. Actually, the address doesn't exist in Google at all. It was a wrong address that's been given to me, where I've been sending my information data in that address which is not exist. And unfortunately, the second letter came back home and with the missing information that the JCRSN has been given to me, that has been removed from the letter, and the letter was crushed. As I say earlier, I recently sent a letter this week, but in the address 90 Boulevard de Mars 68 Colmar, for all the information for the medical record, cover letter green and a cover letter pink. I add all such information inside so that they may know what is going on. So it is about my medical record, it is about my patrimony, it is about my nation. So I want to make allow. Now, for example, I plan to travel in Spain for a certain moment, and we must go through certain steps for traveling, like such as you may some test COVID-19 CPR, and then another one which is the entrance to through Spain. And actually on the system, when you go to the link of EasyJet, I apply for having this form which is selling the code KA code, and I'm currently waiting to see. It's actually I'm traveling at the end of the month, so I expect to have this QR code that must be present to the airport, because this is the step to entrance the Spain. If I do not have this, it will be a big huge mistake for me to not enter Spain. So every country, because I've been writing to Spain consular about this, every country where everyone travels must understand the step for each country, the entrance to the country, because each country has the different step regarding the COVID-19 for the protection, which is very important to follow. So I want to make sure that, and I called the assurance maladie to have some information, because as I've been having my health situations in the UK, and I came back, we are here, and I had calling the SAP assurance maladie. You can go online, and it's calling Amelie, and I found out that you can actually acknowledge any health situation that you made in the overseas. You can declare that to them that you've been to this place in this country, and inform them what happened, and they will see what to do. And if you, for example, are planning to travel